You know, and sadly, you know what I can see happening there somewhere down the line with the way the school system is and the way their academic system working. I could see some numbnut thinking, "Hey, we should watch this movie and do something about it in school." I'm like, "You have any idea what
Or
that's going to be?" I
even
mean,
worse, they're probably going to start some kind of twerking competition in the schools. They're probably going to start stuff like this. You know, I'm not going to be surprised if they do. My biggest worry
right,
is and we you kind of touched up on this earlier. It's how they're going to spin this, because they're obviously going to try to spin this to try to normalize this now. And one of the biggest arguments that I've made is that they're going to turn this into a civil rights movement. And I'm talking about the whole pedophilia thing, because the more that we start to see more of this stuff being seeded in media, because let's be real, this stuff has always been going on, right? They started in the schools, they started in all this, the Born This Way movement kind of thing, where now you're getting kids, okay, first of all, we're going to confuse them, right? We're going to confuse the kids so they don't know what gender they are. I can't tell you how many times my 5-year-old has come to me and asked me if she's a girl or a boy, and I have to tell her, no, honey, you're a girl. You're a young
right.
girl. You're just acting this way because, you know, this is what's happening, and maybe you've seen something at school, but that's not who you are. You're a baby girl, you know? So I can't tell you how many times that has gone in, and it's one of those things like, look, they're going to use this and claim that this is some kind of civil rights, that pedophilia is some kind of civil rights. They're gonna use the black civil rights movement, because you've seen it. They started in 2013. They hijacked the black movement to make sure that the homosexuals could get married. Now I'm not against that or anything like that. Like, realistically, I don't care. If you want to get married, go ahead and get married. But even at that time when that was going on, I remember I had a gay person I had an argument with, and I went off on his ass because he was trying to compare the gay struggle to African American struggles. And I was like, listen. You can't do that. You can't do that, because the gay movement ain't nowhere close to the African American movement. Well, our people were lynched. No. But you can hide being gay. You can't hide being black. Don't sit there and say, I won't let you say that this is a civil rights movement, because it's not. But then again, it became a thing. And then what happened is, after that, trans movement, the trans rights of the Born This Way kind of came in. Now again, I don't give a crap about the trans life. I don't give a crap. I only care about my life and the close ones around me. So I didn't care about that. But now this is something that I'm more passionate about, because you have the pedophilia stuff coming in, because now that's hitting home. Because they trans stuff, they got that in schools already. You got trans people coming in schools and telling them that, you know, this is what you're supposed to be, confusing little boys and girls that already knew what they were. You got this law now in California, basically reducing the age of consent, you know, with sexual acts for young kids, saying as long as they intended to consent, it's you know, the penalties aren't going to be that harsh. So you see that happening. Then you look at a movie like Netflix throwing out Cuties, and it's just like, oh. And we talked about that TED Talk a while ago, where that lady came about and said, oh, this is all right. This is, what if people were just born this way? Before you know it, you're going to see parades in the street trying to say that pedophilia, people attracted to young boys and girls, are okay, and they were born this way. And that I will not stand for at all.
And you think there was violence and you think there was chaos during some of the most tragic recent situations we've had going on. Imagine if something like that did happen. You're going to see a lot of people put their differences off to the side and come together, and you're going to have a bloodbath in the streets.
Yeah,
Dead pedophiles everywhere.
yeah, yeah,
You know, and it bothers me when I hear, you know, well, if they're doing it, it's a sickness. You know, if it happened to them, they're going to do it to somebody else. First off, no, that's a bunch of bullshit. Okay, not everybody turns into the person that hurts them.
yep,
Most people go about who they are. They just develop a insatiable hatred and vengeance
yep,
towards them, and not just the one that hurt them, but all of them.
yep.
You know, and that's how it is. But it bothers the crap out of me though with how far they're taking it. And like you said, they're going to spin it somehow, some way, and they use the media to their advantage. I mean, I'm probably going to sound like I'm picking on this person, but it's just the best example I could use. Look at the entertainers and the people these young girls are seeing and looking up to. Cardi B in that WAP crap video.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I actually never saw that video.
You don't want to.
I wouldn't. I kind of already knew what it was gonna be about, anyways, and people already like talking about it and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching this. I don't give a crap what's in it. I'm not watching it at all. Mm-mm.
Dude, all it really was, man, was like a house party with a bunch of chicken heads and a Willy Wonka factory.
Oh wow.
That's what it looked like. That's what it came across as. And it blew my mind, too, because there was some article floating around. I had a picture of Cardi B with her daughter saying that there's no way in hell she let her daughter watch this movie, Cuties.
Oh yeah.
You know, but I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, cool. You're not going to watch that, but you're not any better. I'm not going to. I wouldn't be surprised, be quite honest with you, because in the world of politics, and this just doesn't even just apply to the United States, but in every government, anything and everything can be used for the sake of control and division. And in this case, it sounds something like that. I mean, unfortunately, you know, the Muslim culture, and I feel bad for them because the radical side of that culture has put a bad light on them. And, you know, there's that stereotype again we've always talked about.
Yep.
You know? And it's a damn shame, because it seems like, you know, if you ain't with us, you're against us in the views of the government, in the views of power and control. If you're not with them, you're against them. And they start coming up with things. And they start creating things. And, you know, unfortunately, this seems like this movie has been used in that aspect. And I hate to veer off topic a little bit, but it was something I got to get off my chest, though. Mm-hmm. You know, I heard that when this movie was made, there was a casting call of almost 400 little girls trying out for this movie.
Yeah.
And my question behind all of it is, what the hell is wrong with the parents? I mean, are these parents getting the script? Are they aware of what this movie's supposed to be?
Oh, they absolutely had to be aware of this. Are you kidding me? They absolutely had to be aware. And this is what I was talking about even in that live video. Is like, I think the parents should be arrested. I really think that there should be some serious consequences, because as a parent, you should have known that this was going to be in the script. You should have known that, you know, your daughter is going to be behaving this way. Your daughters are going to be behaving this way, and it's going to be on viewership for potentially billions of adults, grown adults, to see. So as an adult, as a parent to your child, seeing and knowing what was going to go on and still willingly let your child participate in that, that's, to me, is a form of abuse, right? If you see somebody, I don't know if you watch, I've watched documentaries on some of these beauty pageant shows where they try to get like, you know, young girls as young as 3-year-old to put on makeup and parade in front of these adults and stuff like that. I see that. I don't support those things, because I see that as a form of a child abuse, no different from what this is. This is a form of abuse. 11-year-olds shouldn't be focused on this stuff. And I watched that lady. She did an interview about this, and she was like, well, you know, young girls are already exposed to, you know, sexual stuff on the media and stuff like that. You're already exposed to this stuff. So, you know, this movie was just meant to help them understand more about their sexuality. It's like, no. I get that there's a lot of stuff that our young girls now focus on the social media and stuff like that, but that doesn't make it right. In fact, those particular entertainers, those particular guys who are promoting that stuff, they should also be looked at in a different way, because we need stronger role models. But don't give you the right to push the envelope the way you've pushed it, to the point where now we're sexualizing literally 11-year-old children.
Yeah, I know. I'm disturbed by it myself. I have an 11-year-old niece who's about the same age as these girls in that movie. And I can tell you this much, just speaking as a loving family member, I ever found out that my niece was being casted in a call like that, I'm beating the crap out of my brother for allowing it. And you best believe her moms would be catching some hell too. Yep. Because the whole point...
I'm calling child services on all of them.
Yeah. I mean, this is perversion. It's perversion, it's pedophilia, it's nasty shit, you know, and I've heard, you know, a lot of people saying, well, you should watch the movie, you know, and give it a chance so you understand. I'm like, hell no, I'm not watching. I wouldn't watch 50 Shades of Grey because of how crazy that shit was. No, it might have had a story and a point to it, but I'm not going to watch it. A, because I'm not into that crap and I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and forgive me if I'm wrong. I mean, but I thought like when you have a kid, or from a parent's perspective, I thought it was their job to keep them away from things like that.
It is. It is, and speaking personally as a father of a 5-year old girl, it's one of those that's why I got so passionate about it when I saw it, because I'm just like, because as a parent, first of all, right off the bat, we're fighting a losing battle. We're fighting a losing battle because you got the government passing laws that you can't discipline your kid in a way that makes sense anymore. Right now, we already have the media who is already promoting and pushing all the stuff that they're going to be looking at, that they're going to be being influenced by, and as a parent, it's one of those things when you're looking at it, and now you're looking at Cuties coming out. It's like, I don't want my little girl to look at this and think that this is the way. Bad enough we got social media that's causing these girls anxiety and causing them all the stuff like Instagram and stuff like that. Now we're gonna add this. We're going to add this, saying, no, this is what young girls are supposed to look like. This is what young girls are supposed to do. That additional pressure. As a father, man, I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle, because then I'm like, how do you protect your loved one from this world that all it wants to do is take advantage of them? And
I agree.
Understanding that you're already losing. You're already losing that war.
Well, the biggest battle in that started when technology started becoming a lot more advanced, and it started being used more as a babysitter than just in the terms of using it as something for fun.
Yep.
I mean, just take a little trip down memory lane. I used to have America Online when the internet and all that stuff very first started. And guess what? You did that when you had nothing else to do. Outside of that, you were always going out with your friends, going to the movies. You were actually getting out the house, learning firsthand and learning common sense and things like that. You know, but as it got more and more and more advanced, and the less time people spent leaving the house, or it became accessible on our phones, you know, it's desensitized us. And I think with movies like this, people think that by understanding it, you can have compassion or you can have sympathy. And it's like, no, there's a fine line between right and wrong. And you don't, no, absolutely not. You don't sit here and condone things like that. You don't support things like that.
Yeah.
I have no respect for it whatsoever, and I don't think it's right.